The next product I'd like to demonstrate for you is our knife and scissor sharpener, which does all knives with the exception of serrated or scalloped edge. All smooth edged blades it does, as well as scissors. And the scissors, he does left and right-handed scissors. So here is the product. Nice ergonomic grip, fingers very well protected. And here you've got two crossed carbides, very hard material. And you've got another carbide in the center, which I'll show you in a minute, for doing scissors. So first thing to explain is that rather than our knife sharpener working like this, which most knife sharpeners do, we work in the opposite direction. So you hold your knife on your worktop, tabletop, kitchen top, like this, with the point over the edge. And you're working down on the knife like this. So as you can see, my fingers are very well protected. There's no danger at all in terms of the knife edge. The advantage of working from the top like this is that you can get to a very sharp edge all the way to the tip. That's a big advantage. So the action is like this. I'm holding the sharpener at a slight angle backwards, not like that. And you can hear the carbides working on that edge. And as I just mentioned, having the tip over the edge enables you to press the sharpener down all the way to the tip. That's not so easy to do that when you're working with the knife the other way up. So on a blunt knife, and this will sharpen a large kitchen knife, large blunt kitchen knife very well, you do this maybe on a blunt one, maybe 8 or 9 times. That's the action. And this is a very, very sharp edge now. This happens to be very good steel, high quality steel. I'm going to demonstrate that by taking a very thin sliver here. You can see, and that is a thin sliver. And that is a sharp knife. Now, the other advantage of working top down, as we like to call it, is that it's much easier to do large blades like this. So on the cleaver, not so easy to do that with a top-down sharpener. So here, we're holding the cleaver like that, and we've got full view and full access to that blade. And as I mentioned with the kitchen knife, you can get that sharpener all the way across the edge with the necessary pressure to get it sharp. And again, that is one wouldn't normally use a cleaver for cutting a tomato, but I'll have a try. There you can see that is cutting a pretty thin sliver off that tomato. And again, another advantage of top-down, mezzaluna, as you know, for chopping herbs. And you've got full sight to the blade. I mean, this would be almost impossible to do, be extremely difficult to do this with a regular knife sharpener. So full access and full view of the blade. And same very sharp edge now. These carbides are reversible. You just take this plate off and you turn them round. So you're getting double the life out of the carbides. And also you can get replacement carbides from Multi-Sharp directly. So this will give a long life on this knife sharpening part. Now I switch to the scissor sharpening part. As I mentioned, this will sharpen left and right-handed scissors. In the UK, the last time I checked, there are about 20% of people who use left-handed scissors, so it's useful to know. So you've got a carbide here, and it says left-handed here on one side and right-handed. So these are right-handed scissors. I'm going to be holding this now like this. In other words, for knife sharpening, I was holding like this. I'm inverted the product. My knuckles have got a comfortable place to put them in those indentations in the product. And I'm going to close the blades on the carbides, on the carbide, single carbide, and I'm now just pushing through. And the carbide is sharpening both edges at the same time, like this. And it's very useful to have knives and scissor sharpening together in one product. Now we just close these scissors on themselves to remove any burr. And a very tough test of scissors is to try and cut a thin piece of paper off, a thin sliver or off a piece of edge of a paper like this. And you can see that this is working pretty well. It is working very well. There's your thin sliver of paper. These are very sharp edges on these scissors.